Kavalpreet, I'm with you for taking your subject PPL, right? So as you know, as we have done the last chapter related to that abstraction, information hiding, and encapsulation, right? Now, another unit we are going to start it today now. So that is, I'm going to share with you. Wait a minute. One minute. Yeah. So, good evening, Ekta. Good evening, Kushbu. Yes. Now my screen is visible to everyone. So this is Unit 8, subprogram definition and activation, simple and recursive subprogram, right? So in this, the contents are learning objective, introduction, subprogram definition and activation, fundamentals of subprogram, procedure and function, parameter passing methods, parameter passing techniques, simple and recursive subprogram, advantage and disadvantage of recursion, summary, and the review questions. So what are the learning objective of this unit? So learning objectives are, after studying of this unit, the student will be able to understand the concept of subprograms and their importance in programming. Earlier chapter also, I have taken a concept of subprogram, but on at that time I have not told you any of the example. Now today I will show you the example so that the things will be clear to you more. Okay. It will be start soon. Kuchu. Yes. Dibyajyoti. Good evening. Now, we will understand the concept of subprogram. We will learn how to define the subprogram, how to activate the subprogram, difference between simple and recursive subprogram. We will learn how to write and implement the simple and recursive subprograms. We will understand how to use subprogram to break down the complex program problem into the smaller. We will learn how to debug the subprogram. We will understand the benefit of using the subprogram like code reusability and problems. So these are the learning objective of this unit. Now come to the introduction part. So subprograms are the fundamental building block of the programming. So they are basically used because in every program, when in a C program, what we are doing, we are making a subprogram, means we are modularizing the code, we are making a modules, right? And then reuse it in a various parts of a program or across multiple programs. We can reuse it. Like I made a subprogram of area of circle. So wherever in other programs, I want to use a formula of area of circle. So that subprogram I will be called there, right? So subprogram can be defined as function, procedure, method. So each with its unique characteristics and purposes, right? Yes, honey. Then we will call a subprogram in a program. Just to learn these 2 3 lines, like when we call the subprogram is called, it we called as a activation, which involves means when you are calling a subprogram in a program, it means you are allocating the memory space for the local variables, setting up a new execution environment, and transferring control to the subprogram code, right? So simple subprogram are the most basic type of subprogram. that consists of a single block of code that performs a specific task, okay, and returns a value and performs an action. So they are called a simple call statement and can take input parameters and return output values. So recursive subprogram on the other hand are the subprogram that call themselves within their own definitions. This allows for a more complex and powerful set of operations such as traversing the trees, graphs, and other data structures. It's a directly or indirect way. So this is the introduction. Now I'll show you just learn it. That performs a specific task in a program. A subprogram can be called within another procedure. So every C program at least one function, which is in every C program we have a main function. Yeah, no. So a program can be divided into the separate functions. A function declaration tells the compiler about a function name. So when you are declaring the function, that you have to write down the function name, their return type, and their parameters. A function definition provides the actual body of the function. What function definition provides? The actual body of the function. So C standard library provides numerous built-in function that your program can call. So we have a library and we have various built-in functions that your program can call. For example, function strcat, that this function we are using for concatenating the two strings, means the function memcpy. So this is meant to copy one memory location to the another location. And many more functions we have like this, like str, string concatenation, memory copy. So this is the two functions they have declared as an example. We have used it as an example. A function is known with the various names. How the function we are calling with the various names, like method or a subroutine or a procedure. So however, function returns a value, not, it just executes commands, right? Function returns a value while the procedure does not. Yes, because procedure only executes the commands. Now, what is subprogram? Subprogram is a part of program that perform one or more related task. Program is a part of the program that performs one or more related task that has its own name written as an independent part of the. So subprogram is a independent part of the program, right? Benefits of using the subprocedure in a program are, so why we are using these subprograms, and these are independent part of the program. You know now this. So subprogram help to break programs into the several but logical section. The smaller programs or routines make programming, debugging, and subsequent maintenance easier. When you will make the small functions in a C program, the function we called as a subprogram, so that makes a programming easier. They also help in coding repeated operations such as frequently used calculation. Frequently used calculation also you can bind it in the function text, that makes the programming less repetitive and faster. So procedure used in one program can act as a building block for the. So procedure when you are using in the one program can act as a building block for the other programs with slight modification. That is code reuse. So procedure used in a one program built as a can act as a building block for the other program. So programmer working on a large projects can divide the workload by making a different functions. How the programmers working on a large projects, they divide the workload by into the different functions. So now let's the subprograms. Subprogram include the various characteristics. Each subprogram has a single entry point. There is only one subprogram execution at any given time. control always returns to the caller when the subprogram execution terminates. So control will come to the caller, whosoever the caller is calling the subprogram. So that control will come to the caller when the subprogram execution terminates. Now, what is the basic definition? A subprogram definition describes the interface or the action of the subprogram abstraction. Or you can say subprogram call is the explicit request that the subprogram being executed. So when you want to execute the subprogram, the call you have to a subprogram is active if after having called. So it has begun the execution but has not yet completed that execution. So two fundamental kinds of subprogram are procedure and functions. A subprogram header, which is the first line of the definition, serves several purposes. It specifies that the following syntactic unit is a subprogram definition. Yes, Divesh Patel. Okay, good evening. So subprogram header is the first line of the definition that serves several purposes. It specifies that the following syntactic means the syntax. Syntax is always the subprogram definition and it provides a name for the subprogram. And it may optionally specify the list of parameters. Optionally, we have a list of parameters. So parameter profile of a subprogram is the number, order, and the types of its formal parameters. So the protocol of a subprogram is its parameter profile plus. So if it is a function, it returns the types. So subprogram declaration are common in C programs where they are called prototypes. So subprogram declaration are common in C programs where they are called as the definition that we are. So declaration prototype I'm just showing you. Before reading these, C program is return type, function name, parameter list, and then body of the function we are writing it here. So this is what we called as a subprogram or a function, you can say. A function definition in C program a language consists of a function header and a function body. So this is our function header and the function body. Here are all parts of a function. Return type. First of all, I am explaining the syntax this return type. A function may return a value. The return type performs the desired operation without returning a value. In this case, the return type is the keyword. So return type is the keyword here, void. Right? Function name. This is the actual name of the function. The function name and the parameter list together constitute the function signature. So function name and the parameter list together constitute the function signature. Function list. Also. So parameters are optional. That is, a function may contain no parameters. Function body. The function body contains a collection of statements that define what the function does. The function body contains a collection of statements that define what the function does. So function body is having a collection of statements. So that only tells to us that the function is doing it or what the function does. So following is the source code for the function called max. So this function takes two parameter num1 and num2 and return the maximum between the two. This only I have explained to you. This example only I have explained to you. So what is the purpose of this example? They want to find out or return the value those having the maximum between the two. Is this clear? This function declaration I have already explained to you. Calling a function also we have done. Right? Now come to the features of subprogram. So features of subprogram are as follows. A subprogram has a single entry point. The caller, means the main function, is suspending during the implementation of the called subprogram. So caller जो main function के अंदर जो caller है, when we are calling the function, okay, the called function will be suspended there because at the time whose will work, subprogram will work. So the control repeatedly returns to the after calling the called subprogram, control repeatedly returns to the caller when the called subprogram execution eliminates. When the subprogram execution eliminates, the control come back to the caller. Means come back to the caller means the caller function that we have in the main function. Is this clear, the feature of subprogram? Give me the feedback, please. Argument contains the value. Parameters are not. Okay. Any other doubt you have? Okay, Bhumin, thanks for your feedback, beta. Now, come to the characteristics of a subprogram. A subprogram is implemented. What is type of function I? I means type of function. What is type of function? I. I'm not getting your question in C. I function तो कोई है नहीं बेटा. Function I in C. Kindly elaborate your answer. Question, please. Manoj, I've already explained you. Is parameter and argument are same? Argument contains the value, but parameter cannot. I mean C programming. C programming क्या? What is type of function in C programming? Okay. Type of function, simple function we have recursing. We have a recursive subfunction, subprogram that is simple. Yes, function, and we have a recursive function. Two functions we have. Now, characteristics of a subprogram. A subprogram is implemented using the call and returns instruction in assembly language. If we are talking about the same subprogram function in assembly language में अगर हम बात करें, अभी C में नहीं है, assembly language में बात करते हैं. The call instruction is present in the call instruction कहाँ होती है? Present in the main program, and returns instruction is present in the subprogram itself, right? As we have in the previous. So देखिए see, return we have in a function definition, right? And in the main function we have a call instruction. Then third, it is important to note that the main program is suspended during the execution of any subprogram. Moreover, after the completion of the subprogram, the main program executes from the next sequential address present in the program counter. For the implementation of any subprogram, a stack is used. Why we are using stack for the subprogram? For returning the addresses to the main program. So here return address means immediately next instruction address after the call instruction in the main program. So return address means the immediately next instruction address after the call instruction, after we have a call instruction in the main program. So this return address is present inside the program counter, thus during the execution of the call instruction. So the program counter value is first pushed to the stack as the return address, and then the program counter value is updated to the given address in the call instruction. Is this clear to you? I'm again explaining to you. For the implementation of any subprogram, a stack is used to store the return address to the main program. So return address means immediately next instruction address after the call instruction in the main program will be executed. So this return address is present inside the program counter. बेटा program counter register होते हैं हमारे पास. There we are keeping all the instructions. So if one is executed, then program counter from one, it shifts from 1 to 2. Then every time one is incremented into the program counter for the execution of the next statement. So thus during the execution of the call instruction, the program counter value is first pushed to the stack as the return address, and then the program counter value is updated to the next given address in the call instruction. Is this clear? So similarly, during the execution of the return instruction, the value present in the stack is popped and the program counter value is restored to the further execution of the main program. Is this clear, these statements? So advantage क्या हो गया सब program का is that it avoids repetition of code and allow us to reuse the same code again and again. I told you, like max function we have made it. So wherever we use it, the max, we want to find out the maximum value between the two numbers, then we can simply, understood? We can simply use the max function, right? That allows to reuse the same code again and again. Now see here, the things will be clear more to you through this diagram. Suppose the main program contains five instructions with the starting address of 1000. The first instruction is on the address of 1000 and the subprogram contains four instructions to be executed and we have four instructions to be executed, right? So when we have at this point the PC, they have executed instruction 1, instruction 2, and when we come on instruction 3, there we get a message call 3000. So at this point the PC contains the address of the instruction 4, that is 1003. तो PC में तो क्या हो गया, instruction 4 होगी. This stack is pushed to, this value is pushed to stack. So we have pushed the value here, stack, in the stack. Stack में मैंने क्या डाल दिया, 3000. 1003 हट गया. Earlier we have, if this instruction was not there, call 3000 नहीं लिखा था यहाँ पे, then we are simply moving to the 1003 address for executing the instruction 4, right? But here we, on the instruction 2, we got a call 3000. So this is not to be executed. So this value is pushed to the stack and PC is updated with the 3000. So after instruction 3, next instruction to be executed is sub instruction 1. So after 3, what we are executing? Sub instruction 1. That is on the address 3000. So at this point, the value stored in the stack is restored as a return address to the main program. So now we popped out from the, we have popped the value from the stack, right? So that will be, so after instruction 3, next instruction to be executed is 3000. That is because PC is updated with the 3000, right? So at this point, the value stored in the stack is restored as a return address to the main program. So return address क्या हो गया हमारे पास 3000. So that is, and the PC is updated with the 1003. After 3000, after 3000 executing it, after executing the 3000, then it will execute the 1003 because the PC again updated with the next instruction. Now the instruction 4 and 5 are executed and the program terminates. Is this clear? Is this clear to you? Give me the feedback. How the instruction is to be called in the memory and how we are executing the other instruction. Is it clear to you? Right? Now come to the simple and recursive subprogram. A recursive subprogram is one that calls itself. A recursive subprogram is the one that calls itself. Think of a recursive call as a call to some other subprogram that does the same task as your subprogram. A recursive subprogram is the one that calls itself. Think of a recursive call as a call to some other subprogram that does the same task as your subprogram is doing it. So when your function is subprogram is calling itself, so that we called as a subprogram. So each recursive call creates a new instance of any object declared in the subprogram. So after each recursive call creates a instance का मतलब होता है बेटा copy. So whenever we are calling the function, whenever the function will call itself, that will create the copy of the objects, including parameters, variables, cursors, and the exception. Likewise, new instances of a SQL statement are created at each level in the recursive descent. So there must be at least two paths through a recursive subprogram we have. One that leads to the recursive call and the one that does not. So that is at least one path must lead to the terminating condition. Otherwise, the recursive would go on forever. In practice, if the recursive subprogram strays into infinite regress, so that eventually run out of the memory and raises the predefined exception storage error, right? So important points to remember in the recursive subprogram is recursion is the technique in which a function call itself repeatedly. Why we are calling repeatedly? Recursively function क्यों call कर रहा है itself? To solve a problem by breaking it down into the smaller subproblems. When a function call itself within its code, it is said to be recursive. When the function will be called again and again itself, it's said to be recursive. In a recursive function, the function may have one or more base cases that determine when the recursion should stop and the function should return. This case provides a termination condition that stops the function from calling itself indefinitely. So base case terminate condition that stop the function from calling itself indefinitely, because it will stop it indefinitely because we as many times we want to repeat it, that is to be like 10. If we are writing that I less than 10, so it will be repeated up to 10. The function will be called itself up to 10. And as the base case will arrive, as the condition will arrived, the condition termination is arrived, the function will stop. So the recursion process works by breaking down a complex problem into the smaller one and the simpler one, that's solving each of these sub problems recursively until the base case is reached. So once the base case is reached, the results will arrive. Now how the recursion works? See here. Void, void recursion, int main recursion. So see here, void recursion. So this here we are calling the function recursion here. So this function will be called this subprogram, this function again and again. So this here we have a called sorry, here we have a caller. The caller is calling the called function here again. So this is your recursive function that is calling it your function itself again and again. So here we have a here we have a here we are calling the function, and there the calling function is to be called here. How does the recursion work? This function is working itself, means it is executing again and again itself. And in the main function, when we call this function, this calling function will be called this function. This is your calling and this is your called. Is this clear to everyone? When you want to recursion, beta, recursion, why use recursion? Recursion, we are using it to divide the complex problem into the smaller one. Okay, see here, like we have a recursion is we have a separate one. we have a problem of recursion. So that we have defined it separately in a form of function. So this function will be called itself. We need to call it in the main function. Where is use? Where those tasks we want to repeat it again and again. There we are using the recursion. Is this clear, Sahani? This example also clear? Now I'm explaining it with the help of example also here. Now see, with this after this example, then I will end the class because the time is over. I'm just explaining this example. See here. So this is the header file, standard input output. Int sum function we have here with the parameter n. In the main function, we have a number, two parameters we have, two local variables we have, number and result. So in the printf, we want to enter a positive number. So scanf function we are using from taking a input from the user. This this is the format of writing the scanf statement. Then some number. So that means we have a some function somewhere. Function. So here we have. So here our main function is closed and the function declaration. Function declaration कहाँ है हमारी? ये रही. Int sum int n. Right? ये क्या था? What is this? Int sum int n. This I told you earlier also. What is this before the main function that what I have declared here? What this line means? Hurry up, tell me. Tell me everyone. This is function prototype. This is what? This is function prototype. Right? This is the first line int sum int n. This is function prototype. This is function prototype. This is your function declaration and this is your main function. After closing these braces, your main function will be ends. So here we have a function declaration. We have a formal parameter with the name n. If n is not equal to 0, कब तक चलेगा ये function? This is recursive function. Till that n not equal to 0. Okay. So some function call itself. As we are considering the number here, right? We are taking the number here, like we have taken 5. 5 plus 4, that is 9. So 9 is not equal to 0. Yes, 9 is not equal to 0. So this will be called again. Right? So like this, it will be going on again. And when we will call this sum function here, this is your calling function and this is your called function. Function declaration is your called and this is here in the main function we are calling it. तो फॉर्मल पैरामीटर कौन सा है हमारा? नंबर नाम से जो है वो फॉर्मल पैरामीटर है एंड विद द एन वी हैव अ सॉरी विद द नंबर नेम NUMBER. दिस इज योर actual parameter and n is your formal parameter, right? So else if it will be, so as the number will come equals to 0, then it will return that number. If it is not equal to 0, this condition is not satisfied, then the function will be called itself again and again. So initially the sum is called from the main function when the number passed as an argument. Suppose the value of n inside sum is 3 initially. So during the next function call, it will be 2 and the next process includes another number. Now this program I have explained it with the example also. See here, int main result some number we call this, and we have passed the values with the scanf. In a scanf we have passed the value 3, right? So we are checking 3 is not equal to 0. So 3, so here we are taking as a 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, right? In the place of 3 it will be called 2. 2 will come, right? So this is for the first case, this will be 3 plus 3 is earlier. For in the here we have 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. For the next it will be 2. So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3 is to be returned. Then here we have 1 plus 0. The 1 is returned. So here we have in the last we have a 0 is returning it in the last. Yes, like function definition. Very good, Sahani. Pooja, I'll ask to that LMS manager. If he will reply to me, then I will inform you in the next class. Okay, Pooja? So is this clear to you? This example is clear how this recursive function will work? Okay, okay. Thanks for the reply. Now, what is the advantage and disadvantage of recursive subprogram? Everyone, give me the answer. Give me reply, please. Okay, Bhumin. Recursion makes program elegant. It if performance is vital, use loops. You can use loops also in the place of recursion. So use loops instead of recursion is much slower. So that's why in the place of loops, we are always preferring the recursive function. So that being said, recursion is more important concept. It is frequently used in the data structure and algorithm. For example, it is common to use recursion in the problem such as tree traversal. So for the tree traversal also we are using the in the data structure when we are using the concept of a tree. So for the tree traversal, if you want to find out any of the element in a tree, for that also we are using the function recursion. Is this clear where we are using it? Now you will got the example also where we are using the recursive function. You got the answer for this question also, Rani? You were asking me, na? So next, last, we have a summary of this chapter. What is part of what you said? What is part of recursion? What part you are asking? I'm not getting your question. So in the summary, subprogram are the way to break down the large program into the smaller one. This we have learned. We have learned this how to declare the subprogram definition, how to subprogram activate it. This also we have learned, right? Then there are two types of subprogram we have. सब प्रोग्राम को फंक्शन भी कहते हैं तो आप यू आर आस्किंग ना सानी यू आर आस्किंग द टाइप्स ऑफ फंक्शन सो वी हैव टू टाइप्स ऑफ फंक्शन सिंपल फंक्शन एंड रिकर्सिव फंक्शन a simple subprogram is one that does not call itself but a recursive subprogram is one that calls itself. Now in the summary, subprogram are the important tool for organizing and managing this complex programs. So subprogram definition involves the subprogram name, input, output of the subprogram. While the activation involve only the activation कहाँ होता है main function होती है ना activation. So there we have only the calling function and executing the subprogram is there. These are the review question. What is subprogram in programming? Two types of subprogram. Definition, how you are defining the simple subprogram, parameter pass. What is the purpose of return statement? What is recursive subprogram? Advantage of recursive subprogram? What is base case of a recursive subprogram? How you will prevent from the infinite recursion? What is function in programming? How do you declare a function in C? So these are all the questions that we have. What is the difference between function declaration and function definition? This also you have learned it, right? Is this clear to everyone? So this is from my side. If you have any doubt in any topic, kindly ask me. Otherwise, the time is over. Uh, I'm just ending the session. If you have any doubt, kindly ask me, everyone. Okay, no doubt. Okay, thank you so much. If still you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes, Pooja, you are asking something? Do note the subject teachers provide discussion forums. Pooja, definitely I'll talk to them. and I will provide you the discussion forum. Definitely. Okay. Good night, everyone. As of now, I have no doubt, ma'am. Okay, Manoj, thanks for your feedback. Bye bye, everyone. Good night. Good night, Bhumin.